Jesus Christ. Hold on, folks. Got some kind of racket. I'm hoping it'll pass. Let me just... Good God, that was horrible. All right, welcome everybody to the Paranormal Portal, as I'm trying to figure out why the hell Skype sounds like I'm rolling through the canyon on a water ride or something here. Let's try it again to get this connected. There we go. No, still louder than hell. I don't know why. I don't know. I got an echo coming back on me too. So, I don't know what's going on with the network here, folks, but we may be just doing a YouTube-only show. I don't know what's going on. It's terrible. I'm getting kickbacks on the volume back in my ear, so not sure why. I know it's the studio connection. I know it's not my normal connection, so let me disconnect again and try that one more time. Jeez, that is absolutely horrendous. Jeez. It sounds like someone else is on the line. You're right, but no, it's not. It's just me trying to connect to the network and find out what the hell's going on. All right, let's try again. It's still a mess. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you on TFR, I do apologize, but there's no way we can do a show like this. I got a bunch of sound coming back on me with this connection. I don't know why. I'm perplexed. So you can join us, though, on youtube.com/paranormal portal if you want to come check out the show. It'll be happening live, but there's not much I can do about this. This is a mess. So I got to disconnect this. All right. All right. Well, there you go, folks. It's just you and me and YouTube tonight. I can't do the network. It's just not working. I'm just going to leave a note. Had to disconnect because the line was crazy noisy and echoey. Echo-E, I guess. My apologies. All right, there we go. Not much I can do about that, folks. There's just too much racket. And to those of you on YouTube, thank you for being patient as I was trying to troubleshoot this a little bit. There's not much we can do, unfortunately. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. I'm sure it has to do with Skype and all of the joy and fun that Skype brings to every broadcast. Usually it works pretty good, but tonight, not so much. But welcome to the Paranormal Portal, the Friday show, folks. I guess the good news, no, it's not on rebroadcast. It is on a live show. Nope. It's been on live. So I just got a message in the network chat in there, but sorry about that. I don't mean to have that take away from the shows here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me here tonight. As some of the times it's been kind of the nature of the Paranormal Portal, and maybe it's doing a paranormal show that if anything can go sideways, it probably will. But it's just been an adventure of the mind. But unfortunately, I had to put the network on rebroadcast, but I'm just going to disconnect from that and just focus on you guys here because this is what we do. So unfortunately, I hate to do that because TFR is where the portal started. And I know they just rebuilt a lot of the broadcast software and stuff. And so it's just nature of the machine. There's bugs that you got to be chased out and stuff. But, a special place in my heart for TFR Live. Because this show wouldn't be here without them and without Chris and Cherie Geo and the network where we were launched. So after the network show was already ongoing. So it's with great reluctance that I got to pull the plug on that, but I can't do it. All right. But anyway, folks, I'm here now. You have my undivided attention. Thank you once again for being here with me as we dive into another 2-hour fun fest of the Paranormal Portal, because that's how we like our fun, in 2-hour blocks especially. And I guess the good thing is there won't be commercial breaks, or the bad thing, if you use those to run to the loo or run to get a beverage, then of course we can, I'll probably throw a break in the middle because I know I'm going to need a water at some point. I'm almost through this one. So, But anyway, welcome to the show. We got 2 full hours, and I got a lot of paranormal to bring you in that time. And hopefully we have a fantastic journey from this point forward. We have, of course, the news coming up in a sec, and then we got a bunch of articles that I want to get through and read some more stories about the strangeness that is the paranormal, because that's what we do here on the show. There's a lot of things we do. But I guess there's no better place to start all this than where we always start on the 2-hour shows, and that is the news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday edition of the Paranormal Portal News. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas. I don't have a co-anchor tonight, so it's just you and me and a whole lot of good intentions. So let's see what I pulled up for the news. That's right, Jordan. The news. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. All you guys on YouTube, great to see you guys. Sandy, Maggie, Julia's in there, and Steve, Digger Dog, Android's in there. Good to see you, brother. Rachel gets it right, is in here. Outstanding. Actually, just hold on a second while I do this. Good. Okay, there we go. All right, so that'll just help even things out a little bit here. But I got some news for you folks, and that is what I'm here to do, is to read the news. I'm all here to chew bubble gum and read the news, and I'm all out of gum. All right, let's get to the first one tonight. This is our first article on the Paranormal Portal News, and this one's kind of weird. I don't know. It sounds like space has kind of got some really screwed up things out there. But apparently, folks, according to unexplained-mysteries.com, let me just scan this quick to make sure. No, it's not too long. There is a newfound iron planet, and it has a molten metal surface. I think this is on Star Wars, wasn't it? Isn't that where Anakin lost his legs and stuff? Isn't that kind of like a molten planet? My God. A molten metal planet. How in the hell does that happen? Well, we're going to find out what they have to say here. It says astronomers have identified a new extrasolar planet that is thought to be comprised of more than 80% iron. Could you imagine? I mean, the mineral wealth that's available through the expanse of space. I mean, a planet made mostly of iron. That would be, I don't know. Even if it's only the size of the moon. That is huge. That's a lot of iron. But let's see what it says. Situated approximately 30 light years from Earth in orbit around the dwarf star GJ 367, the new planet was discovered by NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite. And that's TESS for short. TESS. Okay, mission, which looks out for a telltale dip in starlight caused by an orbiting planet moving in front of it. With a radius around 3/4 that of Earth, the surface conditions of this pint-sized world, which is tidally locked, so that one side faces the star at all times, are undeniably hellish. Its iron core is believed to extend 85% of the way to the surface, leaving a thin rock crust. With its surface temperatures of around 1,745 Kelvin, however, it is likely at least that some of its surface is molten iron, making the chances of finding life there practically zero. In many ways, GJ367b is a lot like the planet Mercury, albeit larger, much closer to its parent star, and with a density 1.5 times greater. This is a unique object with a short orbital period and a high density, said Christine Lamb of the German Aerospace Center. This discovery paves the way for future exoplanet scientists to find smaller and smaller planets, hopefully like something in our solar system or something completely different. So, the thing that strikes me right off the bat is how in the hell can they know so much about a planet that's 30 light years away? They realize it's there because they can see the sunlight dipping or the starlight dipping, showing that a planet's going around the surface. How the hell do they get all this other information, though? You can't tell me that showed up in the shadow, like, oh, we can tell it's made out of iron and it's this hot and it's tidally locked, meaning the same side faces their sun. Look, how do they know this? I don't understand. I mean, God knows the things like the Hubble Space Telescope has shown us deep space and things in deep space that we couldn't have imagined before. But still, how do you get this kind of information? It's like like somebody's got a chopper flying over the surface. How can you possibly know this? That doesn't make sense. I don't know how they derive that information, folks, but that literally floors me. It's like, are they not telling us something? Is there something going on? Like they've already got like the secret space program out there in orbit around it or something? You got to wonder. I mean, how can you get that much information from just seeing the dimming starlight? I don't know. That doesn't wash for me. I don't understand. I'm confused. What about you guys? Does that make sense to you? Oh, hey, Nubis. He's just hollering. He's gotten into this phase now of going meow, meow, and wanting to go outside, but he's never been an outdoor cat at night, so I don't know why he's surprised suddenly. But anyway, that's the first article on our list of news for the night. That's weird. Is that working? So let's get to the next one, shall we? And the next one is also from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this one is a Bigfoot story, folks, right from the stories of Bigfoot. And a place called Regalsville is what it looks like, if I'm reading that correctly. It's called Regalsville, and it says, Regalsville mayor still haunted by Bigfoot encounter. That's right, their mayor apparently bumped into a Bigfoot, and this is from the 3rd of December, 2021, so this is brand new. It says Mayor Greg Stokes, not Strokes. I hope not. I hope he's in good health. Mayor Greg Stokes experienced something while camping in 1984 that would stay with him for the rest of his days. It had started out as an idyllic camping trip with his girlfriend in Pike County, Pennsylvania. Yet what happened that night in July 1984 would lead him on a search for the truth that continues even to this day. Things had started out fine, with Stokes setting up a tent and starting a campfire. About 9:45, when it was all good and dark, something walked up on our campsite, he recalled, and it was definitely something on 2 feet. And I could hear it snapping sticks as it walked. Terrified, he gripped his knife and hatchet as the intruder came to a stop just outside of the tent. Oh, that's so psychological. God, that's just trippy that they do that. The animal let out a scream that was the most terrifying thing you could imagine, said Stokes. The creature, this thing, was so close to our tent that I could hear its lips pop open when it started to scream. It had a terribly deep guttural tone, but also this high-pitched tone, and the scream went on for like 20 to 25 seconds. I didn't think then, and I don't think now, that a human being is capable of making that sound. This scream was definitely territorial, and it was definitely directed at us. It's like right outside the tent screaming at you. It's like, yeah, I'm sure they heard you. It shook my body so hard that I couldn't see the inside of the tent. It was like looking through shimmering water. The sound went all the way through me. If you stand in front of a big bass amplifier at a concert, that's what it was like. Stokes would go on to spend the next 37 years attempting to find an answer to what it was he encountered that night. I didn't know what I heard, he said, but I knew what I didn't hear, any animal found in North America. Except one. There's apparently one animal in North America that you bumped into. Well, animal being, obviously more maybe humanoid, but it's still more like an animal. That's crazy. And that's the thing that makes me think these things are intelligent. They know, I'm sure, how loud they are. They know that they know what their yells can do, because clearly they use them in many instances. They are using this yell, and I think they are very well aware of the fact that their sound actually affects things that hear it, like to the point of making it so they can't walk, or like, again, going back to Sasquatch Chronicles, Claire's talk of the thing hit the ground and then yelled at her really loud, and the next thing she knew, she was waking up by her car hundreds of yards away after she'd been dragged there. So I think they know for sure what they're doing, but they did it right outside of their tent. So it walked up. It's like the crabby old neighbor, like, get off my lawn. He's going right outside of the tent, knowing full well they're in there. And it does a lip pop, and then it starts screaming for 20 or 25 seconds, knowing that is impacting those people inside of there. So I think they're very intelligent. I think that was it's just a very big intimidation factor. This is not an animal. This is not, a simple, this is a strategy. I mean, I hear these things and I think this is a strategy. These things are smart. They plan these things out. So I think that most of you guys listening would agree. Any of you that have spent any time learning about the Bigfoot Sasquatch phenomena, that definitely comes to play over and over again. People hear these screams and they are, zapped. People say they're zapped. So it's a zap for sure. All right. That's the second article tonight. A very cool one. I don't know where Regalsville is. Did it ever say? What? Pike County, Pennsylvania. Okay. Sure. It would be Pennsylvania for sure. Because like everything crazy is in Pennsylvania, just like Ohio. Those two states really have they really have the market cornered on the strange. There's no doubt about it. All right. That's the second article tonight. We got plenty more for your listening pleasure, folks. The next one is, this is a new one. Folks, there's a lot of people out there. And granted, I understand the rationale that we don't always get the full answer for things, especially having to do with the government and stuff. I mean, I think any normally developed person would go, yeah, we don't know everything that's going on. They don't tell us everything. Sometimes they don't tell us anything, but there's definitely those things that our government has done and that have been done in the name of, the red, white, and blue in the American way that probably most Americans wouldn't agree with. So it causes people to speculate. And as people speculate, those things are diminished and discarded as conspiracies. But I've heard some what I think are very possible, potentially valid conspiracies in my life. And, I don't pretend to know either way because I'm just not informed enough. But I think that we can all rest assured that all of these conspiracies aren't wrong, because a lot of times after enough time has passed, you find out just how right they were. And that can be shocking. But I will also say I've heard some ridiculous conspiracies. The most recent one that I heard is that I'm apparently a Mason. And if you watch a couple episodes ago, I did the comments from the cheap seats on one of those conspiracy ideas. Somebody in the chat or in the messages on YouTube said that I was busted. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He did all these words with number 33 after it. And then it said, ooh, what do I equal? And he said busted. And I said, well, thanks for the comment. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He said, oh, you Masons are bad liars. I was like, what? So, I mean, that's kind of a conspiracy, I think, for a lot of time. A lot of these people just run around and they use those conspiracies so easily, like, oh, you're a Mason, you're an Illuminati, you're, whatever. But I think there's probably more ridiculous conspiracy theories out there than there are valid ones. And some that are grounded in what could very well be fact. But here's a weird one for you. This is a very roundabout way of bringing you back to the start here, which is to tell you that I found there's two conspiracies we're going to be talking about in the news tonight. This first one, I think is just bizarre. All right, let's get into it. And this is absurd conspiracy theory claims that the Roman Empire was a hoax. There you have it, folks. It was a hoax. One of the biggest hoaxes in the world. Jesus. A ludicrous new conspiracy theory doing the rounds online is claiming that the Romans never existed. E2 Brutus. We've seen a fair few conspiracy theories on this site over the last 2 decades, which have ranged from the more mainstream, i.e. that the moon landings were a hoax, to the downright absurd, flat earth, or claimed more recently the internet is fake. That's actually the second one that I was going to get to. I got an article open already. This latest one, however, which claims that the Roman Empire never actually existed, pretty much takes the biscuits as one of the weirdest conspiracy theories that we've come across to date. This rather strange claim comes courtesy of TikTok history enthusiast, Mom Millennial, whose conspiracy theories have proven to be somewhat divisive, to say the least. on social media. The root of her Rome denialism lies in the false claim that the Roman archaeological sites are misinterpreted and that Rome was in fact a hoax perpetrated by the Spanish Inquisition. Most of these claims have already been thoroughly debunked by historians. However, as is the case with those who remain adamant that the earth is flat, expertise and hard facts don't seem to carry much weight with those who remain convinced that they are right and everyone else is wrong. If anything, such conspiracies represent something of a quirk of the internet age, ideas that, despite holding no weight, seem to endure and spread, picking up more followers as they go along. It remains to be seen what other weird conspiracies will arise thanks to social media over the next few years. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rome wasn't fake. I'm pretty sure that I often hear some of these things, and I think that some of these conspiracies are just perhaps another disinformation campaign by some some secret group or something trying to put more false fodder out there just to make it seem ridiculous. Because if there's lots of ways to obfuscate truth. Like you can obfuscate truth by just not putting it out there, not saying anything. The other thing you can do is, if you know that there's some truth out there, just start flooding the space with so much potential truth that it all just gets to be ridiculous and nobody bats an eye. So it's like more information is a form of obfuscating information, because if there's just this perverse amount of bad information, then when the real good pieces of information come along, nobody will bat an eye on it because they've heard 50 of the stupid things, So I think this is an interesting take. I don't know why they would try to debunk Rome, the Roman Empire being false. I have no idea. I think there's definitely plenty of historical and archaeological remains to validate it pretty thoroughly. But I guess, when you thought you've heard it all, then you hear something new. All right. I don't know. It's just one of those things. You think you've heard about as much stupid as you can handle, and then some more stupid comes along. So there you have it, folks. Somebody says Rome is not real. It was a conspiracy. Okay. Let's continue. Find out what else is going on. This is one that I saw coming. And I'm not saying that makes me special or anything, but it's just anytime there's a government effort to corral information about something, then it's bound to become ugly. It's just the government just doesn't do things either expediently, not efficiently, and not openly. And our next story, I think, will probably punctuate some of that. Lately, we've been talking about the Pentagon, talking about their new office or efforts to look into the extraterrestrial possibilities and UFO claims and such. But this is concerns raised over Pentagon's new UFO office, folks. How long is this? This one's not too bad. Okay. It says, last month, the U.S. Department of Defense announced the Airborne Object Identification and Management System Synchronization Group, or AOMSG. That's an ugly acronym. A new UFO investigation office that will serve as the successor to the U.S. Navy's Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. According to an official press release, the new group will synchronize efforts across the department and the broader U.S. government to detect, identify, and attribute objects of interest in special use airspace, and to assess and mitigate any associated threats to safety of flight and national security. Not everyone is enthusiastic about this news, however, including Luis Elizondo, who previously headed up a unit that was responsible for assessing military UFO reports. His concerns relate to how the new UFO office could compromise Senator Kirsten Gillibrand's proposed amendment to the 2022 National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, which aims to establish full transparency on the subject of UFOs and to remove all secrecy surrounding the phenomena. If we want 70 or more years of secrecy on this topic, then the office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security is the perfect place to put it, said Elizondo. They've had 4 years so far, and we have little in the way of efforts serving public interest. Elizondo is not alone in his concerns. Christopher Mellon, who ran an equivalent unit during the Clinton and Bush administrations, does not believe that the new UFO office will have the funding line, authority, contracting, command, or technical capabilities to investigate UFOs effectively. The inability of the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security to engage effectively on UFO issue is why so little has changed or been accomplished since 2004, he said. Given the potential for such issues, it is unclear exactly how things will progress under the new office and whether Gillibrand's calls for greater transparency will actually be enacted at all. At the end of the day, we could end up no better off than when the government's UFO investigations were once kept secret. Yeah, absolutely. Why do they need a new acronym every time they try to reestablish something? It's like the acronym does not make it more legit. It's just bureaucracy at work. Again, just stupid. But that's the way government works, folks. I don't think that's working. I'll have to pull up that on a different monitor and make sure. Are the buttons working? I don't know. Let's get to the next article. We've got a couple more to go here in our news spread for the night. Let's see what the time is after this one. It said, could Tanzania footprints really be those of a new species of human? I think we bumped into this one maybe a week ago or maybe a few days ago. I'm not sure. Maybe on Wednesday. But scientists take a closer look at the set of 3.6 million year old footprints discovered in northern Tanzania. A collection of fossil footprints at Laetoli in northern Tanzania, preserved in volcanic ash and dated to 3.66 million years ago, are still yielding surprises almost 45 years after their discovery. Based on the reanalysis of the fossil footprints from one of Laetoli's sites, the authors of a new study published in the journal Nature say they've discovered evidence of a previously unknown early human species at this spot. However, there are reasons to be cautious about this conclusion. Before we delve into these new findings, let's orientate ourselves. Laetoli, I don't know for the pronunciation, I apologize, but I'm sure I'm brutalizing the hell out of it. An area well known for paleontological excavations has a number of distinct sites, each denoted by letters of the alphabet. British paleoanthropologist Mary Leakey and her colleagues first reported fossil footprints in This is mostly a repeat of the other one we read. Anyway, there's new footprints. Again, I know we visited this article, but this is supposedly a newer take on it, but I don't really know of anything new that came out of it. Yeah, there might be a new human ancestor found in that whole, evolutionary chain from monkeys to people, but that's way too long, and it's really nothing new. I'm seeing the same text that I read the last time, so I think it's a regurgitation, as it were. Okay, let's get to the next one here, folks. Let me look at the time, though, to see where we're at, 7:29. Yeah, maybe this is kind of conspiracy night, isn't it? Why in the hell isn't that working? There we go. There's a couple more articles that I have that I think I'll save for tomorrow night, assuming that the network will work, but we've already been at the news for about half an hour here, so I think this will be the wrap-up of the News Cast, if you don't mind, folks, and then we'll get on with our regular part of the shows that we are waiting in the wings for. So, with that, this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. It helps if I actually change the cameras. How you doing, folks? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the newscast for what it was. Sorry about the redundancy on that last one, but it was supposed to be a new article, but it's the same one. Just reskinned. They just reskinned it. So anyway, thank you, Julius, for posting that. Julius posting the link for the the email. You can always email the show if you've got paranormal stories of your own that you want to share, but you don't want to call in. You can certainly email us. Paranormalportalradio@gmail.com is the email address to do that. Again, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. As well as you can always call in. We love call-ins here on the show. If you've got a paranormal story that you wouldn't mind sharing, then call me. It's just me tonight, folks. It's been a long time since I've done a show solo. It's been a long time. But I think I remember how. But the phone number for the show, if you want to call in, it is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So that'll get us through here. I do need to do one thing, folks. So just give me a second, because I'm gonna have to go to Don Cam here. You can look at Don's seat for a second. I got to pull off this hoodie. I'm about dying here. It's a lot of work hosting. Forgot all that aerobics that it takes, all that deep breathing. So I'm going to pull off my hoodie, and I don't want to do it on camera. Let me pull up the software. Make sure I'm not on the wrong camera. Hey, look, there's my nipple. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want to see. That nobody should have to see. Hell, I would do without seeing it myself if I could. But I'm almost there. Just got to go through the head hole, and we're out. There it is. Okay. There it is, folks. I'm now the new and improved, much cooler host of the Paranormal Portal than I once was. The glorious wetness of water. All right, so we got a bunch more of the paranormal fun to go through here tonight. And I'm going to start with, which one was it? This is the one right here, yeah. Glitch in the Matrix stories? Was this the one, or was this the one? Let's see. There's a couple of them here. I kind of got a little turned around here. Just a sec. Oh, no, not that one. I know it's not that one, so it's this one. All right, so right now we're going to go to an article that I've been going through on Ranker.com, folks. This is Ranker.com, and it's Ranker does these compilations of aggregated stories from like Reddit and stuff. And so they've done a really good job on this one. We've been going through it for at least one other show, and we're going to dive back into it tonight. But this is a glitch in the Matrix stories, and some of these are pretty bizarre. If you subscribe to the idea that this could very well be a simulation, then glitches in the Matrix maybe make a lot of sense, because if it's a simulation, as with anything simulated, sometimes things go sideways. Sometimes they're a little skewed. Now, for me personally, I don't know that I like the whole Matrix analogy. I think that what is going on here in a nutshell, I think, is just, it's like a school. And I know that I'm not unique in saying that. Many people have said that for time immemorial, that we are here learning, and as such, this is a place where our little soulings maybe earn their wings and, progress spiritually for whatever reason. And it's up to you to decide what that means to you. But I don't think that these glitches in the Matrix are some just skewed piece of programming or something that went sideways and created these weird bubbles or something. I really do believe that these things are not necessarily the mistakes. I don't think it's where things are breaking down and going sideways. I think it's the breadcrumbs. And it's demonstrating, and I've said this for a long time, so forgive the redundancy, but it's demonstrating the incredibly profound and dynamic nature of reality that we live in. It's just, we are so attuned to our three dimensions, our Monday through Fridays, our weekends and 9 to 5s and whatever, that we get this tunnel vision of sorts. We develop this, and it's keeps us in this tunnel throughout the courses of our lives. But then some things like these glitch in the Matrix stories and the paranormal in general, all these things that happen that just don't fit into the three dimensions. They don't fit into the normal model of things that we've come to expect from our world. And I don't think that those are mistakes or where things are going wrong. I think that it's a reminder, and be that from some divine mind, from a higher mind of ourselves, from another aspect of ourselves that exists outside of this framework, or whatever. I don't know, but I think it's meant to remind us that this isn't it. This isn't the whole of experience. In fact, this is a very, 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 very small, infinitesimal piece of the entirety that is, the universe and the realities and the nature of things. So, I kind of like to think that these things are reminders. I don't know if that makes sense for you or not, but I just like to throw those ideas out there because I think, it's easy to think that the paranormal is just where things got goofed up or these big creatures just kind of popped out of nowhere and then popped back into nowhere. And in between there is this weird situation that doesn't fit. Well, there's a reason it doesn't fit. It's because we don't understand the entire nature of things, that we have a lot to learn. And I don't think that that's bad. I think that's good. It keeps things magical. It keeps things interesting. And it keeps us looking. I think one of the biggest tragedies in all of the advent of our history would be if we stopped looking, if we stopped exploring, if we stopped discovering. I think that then the world becomes a cesspool. It becomes a pit of despair. So it's the things that keep us learning and keep us exploring that keep us vibrant and electric and dynamic. And that's a good thing. So take that or leave that. It's up to you. It's your call. But those are my thoughts on it. And you get those for free. No extra charge, folks. Isn't that cool? All right, so we're on this one. This one is They Saw the Inside the Matrix. And I think this is where we left off with on this one was where we left off because this one was a long one and we didn't have enough time when I was here with Dawn. So at the tail end of Wednesday's show. So let's see what this one is. This is from Redditor. A lot of italics. I love these Redditor names. They're just awesome. A lot of italics is the author of this one. It says, one day I was walking to work and all of a sudden had an urge to walk a different path than usual. I work downtown in a big city and it was a strange spur of the moment urge to walk a different way that changed my life forever. I turned into an alley I'd never seen before, and as I remember it, I made about 15 feet or so when an actual glitch happened. Everything in my mind scrambled. I didn't like that I didn't have a body anymore, just that I was a semi-conscious entity floating through some weird dimension. All of a sudden, in the array of different colors and shapes, a vision came to me. It was a bunch of strange-looking people that, in my mind, resembled businessmen in suits. They looked startled and panicked that I could see them, and one of the people made a quick movement, and everything turned to black. When I regained normality, I was on a completely different street. It was the same street I always used to walk to work on, and I felt sick and severely disturbed/depressed. I've never done any hard drugs, never experienced any hallucinations, never have had anything like this happen to me. The weird thing is, when the glitch was correcting itself, I could see those people watching me like a caged animal. I had the feeling that I knew I was being controlled. It still bothers me very much to this day. Oof, that would be a creepy thing to come back with. Oh, if you get one peek behind the curtain and what do you find? That you're in a cage? Oh, God, that'd be horrible. Maybe we're all caged. I don't know. But, it's kind of like Cypher in the Matrix. Just, I know it's not steak, but just let me just believe I'm eating a steak. That's fairly a creepy possibility. All right, here's the next one. A kid brought a tablet computer to school in 1987. Whoa. That doesn't seem possible. But this is by Redditor Bugs Nixon. When I was a kid in England in primary school around 1987-ish, a new kid joined the school on a temporary basis for a term. He had an American accent and was a ginger. His name was Lee. Before he left us, he brought into school what today would be sort of like a tablet computer, but this was very thin with brown tanned glass. He had cartoons on it, and he totally loved cartoons and movies. I swear this happened. I didn't dream it. It was amazing. There was a crowd of kids who saw it, and their reaction was interesting because they liked it and wanted one, comparing it to the Nintendo Game and Watch and calculators, but sort of accepted it and didn't think it was magical, but it certainly was. I said to him, it was like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy prop used in the TV series. He didn't know what I meant, and he kept it away from the teachers and didn't bring it back in. I kept asking him questions about his calculator TV, and he just gave vague answers and saying he didn't know. But when I asked where he bought it, he said his dad got it from the U.S. One other thing he said, he saw a movie which had every cartoon character ever. A few years later, I realized that he was talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which came out soon after. Ooh, that's creepy. This was 30 years ago, and you can imagine how difficult in all this time it's been to describe this thing, as we haven't had ubiquitous tablets everywhere. I used to draw diagrams of it and show it to people. I went crazy when I saw the Tom Hanks movie Big, the scene where he pitches a handheld comic book video device. My parents just sort of acknowledged it, just humoring me. When Star Trek The Next Generation came out and the pad was shown on screen, I went, that's it, that's the thing. Eventually the tablet PC came out, and I remember thinking, finally, at last. And the video iPod was further confirmation. Today, it's obvious that it was a tablet computer, and my story sounds more convenient. I suppose I could track some of the other kids down on Facebook to prove this. I bet they would remember. Naturally, no one believes me. Well, this is kind of a different take, but what if the father was really somebody pretty high up in the military? The reason that I say that is I used to teach computers and computer literacy, and one of the things that I stumbled across a bunch of times, and I think is very common knowledge, is that, look, what we have in your homes is at least 30 years behind what the military has. So is it possible that this kid's father was just somebody really high in and plugged up, possibly in a tech division or something? And maybe he wasn't supposed to bring it out of the house, but give a kid something like that, and of course they're going to bring it to school. So it could very well just be that, this kid had a technology that he wasn't supposed to have for, 20 or 30 years. Yep. So I think that there's possibility to that. That makes sense to me, because technology, what we have is still, so think about how far technology has come within your lifetimes, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm here to tell you that when I was in junior high school was when the first Apple IIe's were coming out. And the monochrome display, it was just, everybody was learning basics so they could do something on these things. And I remember my first computer myself was a Commodore 64, and it was 64K colors, and stuff. It was like, wow. And when you look at it now, this is, I don't know, I guess 40 years ago. Is that how old I am now? I don't know. However long ago that was, in my lifetime, we've seen it. And maybe that technology spread has been even more further. Maybe it's not 30 years anymore. Maybe it's 50 or 60 years now. What can they do now? What do they have capability-wise right now? Yeah, thank you, Paz. I appreciate that. That's what occurs to me, is that maybe this one isn't so far off the map. It's just this kid had access to what would have been top secret military technology. And I suppose his dad probably said, here, just use this. And you can, download stuff on it from, wherever. So it could have been just a military device he had. I think that's what happened in this situation. Oh, water. I love water. I'll do you one better. I had a Vic 20. You had a Vic 20. Yeah. The Timex, wasn't that Timex? I remember those. I had a disk drive, a floppy disk drive on mine, buddy. And I had a tape cassette, a cassette drive too. And you had to rewind and fast forward to get to the data. It was terrible. It was great in the day though. Gotta love it. But that's kind of a cool story. And I don't think that one's far off possibility. I think that's very, very, very possible. And I think that I'm right, that he just had early technology. They remembered a car crash that didn't happen. This one comes from The Name's Clove. The Name's Clove. Okay. Hey, Clove. Good to see you. I vividly remember this girl at my school dying in a car accident after she drove over the side of an exit ramp that was having construction done on it. And the reason she didn't realize it is because she was texting. I remember my sister and her friends going to the funeral. She was in my sister's grade. We lived in a small town, and I remember everybody talking about it for weeks. Fast forward almost 10 years, I've told my fiancée the story enough times. She knows the girl's name by heart, mainly to try to convince her not to text while driving. My fiancée is from the other side of the country, and I never go back to my hometown, so she doesn't know any of the people I went to school with personally. One day she's looking at my sister's Facebook page and says, "Hey, isn't this the girl who died?" I come over to check it out. Turns out she's alive, married to an old friend of mine, with a kid, and no one remembers the car accident/funeral. I'm so confused. Wow. Could be a Mandela effect. This person might have jumped timelines or jumped realities, so to speak. I don't know. That's got to be tough to deal with. I don't know. All right, well, there's no number, but the next one is they remembered their uncle's passing. This is from a former Redditor, so it's not even an actual Redditor anymore, so this one might be an old one, but I knew my uncle had died. My mom had called me and told me the news, and it was very sad, and she told me in the middle of work, and I told one of my coworkers. He expressed his condolences on my loss. A couple weeks later, my sister mentioned my aunt and uncle doing something, and I said, "But he's gone." And my sister said, "No, he wasn't." I called my mom. He was alive. To this day, I'm still not sure how much of it my brain imagined and how much was real. Did I really talk to my coworker? Was I even on the phone with my mom at all that day? It still freaks me out knowing that my mind could fabricate so complete a real memory like that. Or did it? I mean, was it a fabrication, or was it you just jumped timelines yourself? Here's the next one. They got a check for the exact amount they owed. This is from Redditor B. Branderson. It's from Branderson. I got a call from a police officer telling me if I didn't pay some old fines within a week, he would come and arrest me. The total was $267.63. It was about 2 weeks before Christmas, so I was really sweating it. The very next day, I got a check in the mail for $267.63 for overpaid child support throughout the year. Craziest, most unexplainable thing I've ever had happen to me. Wow. Well, Branderson, congratulations. That's the universe just making sure you're okay. This one is they saw the same woman in different places minutes apart. It's by Redditor You're a Moron. I was catching a SkyTrain in one particular city for about 15 minutes from where I get off. While I wait, there's a woman with glazed eyes asking people for money. She came up to me, stopped briefly, and asked, "Excuse me, could you spare some money? My brother's in the hospital. I'd like to buy some flowers." I think we've read this one before, but anyway, these things tend to repeat from time to time, so my apologies. That's rich, I thought. People are getting more and more obvious with their lines. Gave her $5 without even looking her in the face, convinced of her intentions. My train pulls up, and I get on. I look through the glass at her walking around asking others for money as the train pulls away. The train arrives at the station 15 minutes later. I walk down and out to the bus stop, and there's only one bus in the direction I'm going, and just my luck, it is there waiting when I get off the train. So on the bus, I hop and wait for the bus driver to finish reading his paper before the doors close, and we embark down the highway. After about 5 or 10 minutes of traveling, the driver pulls over for a routine stop. The doors open, and to my complete astonishment, the woman from the SkyTrain walks into the bus, a dozen roses in hand. She looks me right in the eyes as she walks past to take her seat. How in the blue hell did she get here? I took the train before her, watched her at the train stop. From inside, as we pulled away, I went over a river. I caught the first and only bus going this particular direction. And not only did she beat me there, she had time to go to a store and buy a dozen roses. Oof. That's kind of hard to reconcile that. Huh. Time slip, maybe? That's pretty creepy. They miraculously survived a motorcycle incident. This is by Shepherd of Hermas. I got in a motorcycle accident about 6 years ago. I'm going 45 miles per hour through town, and a woman who didn't see me turns left in front of me. It could only have been a millisecond, but I remember weighing my options and thinking if I should try and go over the car or under it by laying the bike down. Well, I put the bike down. It went straight under her car, and I went diagonally. I slid across the pavement wearing no helmet, no jacket, just jeans and a cheap zip-up hoodie from Walmart. So I slid for 80 feet or so, not sure on the exact measurement, but it was a long way. On the pavement, and when I stop, I just stand up, and the only thing wrong is that there's a little hole in my hoodie cuff about the size of a dime. Not a scratch anywhere on me. I remember looking at it, then at my mangled bike, and just screaming in my head, physics don't work this way. I don't know. That's a pretty fortunate problem. Pazuzu, maybe that was her twin getting some shopping and flowers to greet her sister with. Yeah, apparently, well, she said she needed the money to get her brother flowers who was in the hospital. So, I don't know. Very weird. Or maybe she called her sister and said, yeah, her twin sister. Yeah, good point. It's hard to say, man. That's one explanation. Anything's possible here on the portal. The parking lot filled in less than 30 seconds. From Redditor Jabalan. Okay. About a year ago, my girlfriend and I went to eat dinner at Chipotle. It's a smallish shopping area with a burger joint and a Pee-wee neighboring the Chipotle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but one of those kind of upper classy type shopping areas. We pulled into the parking lot in front of the establishments at around 5 p.m. on a Friday evening to find an empty parking lot. There were no tables outside, and there were no cars in the parking spots, not a person in sight, and even the lights inside of the buildings were off. Completely confused, I took the car in a sort of loop around the building in order to leave. The only thing of interest was a single fire truck parked alongside the building, headlights on, but no emergency lights and no one in the truck. It struck us as a little bit odd, maybe a fire in the building. As we pull around the backside of the building, and when I finish looping around, we drive past the front facade of the building, except this time every parking spot is full. Tables are outside with patrons at them, food half eaten. There's people walking around and the lights inside of the buildings are all on. But the fire truck was gone. Mind you, it took less than 30 seconds to make a circle around the building. Easily one of the strangest things I've ever experienced. Wow. What do you do with that? What do you do with that kind of information? So you loop around a building. There's nobody there. All the lights are off. Everything is quiet. Not even a soul to be seen, except a fire truck. And then you go around the front, come back around in the time it takes you to do that little loop. Suddenly it's packed, and there's no fire truck. Yeah, these people are, I mean, it makes sense. They sound like glitches in the Matrix. Their dreams saved their life years later. This is from Redditor Frisky Chicken. Frisky Chicken. All right. I think I'm going to read this one, and we're going to take an impromptu break because I'm going to need more beverage to keep the voice going. But 1 second. So this is Frisky Chicken's story. Everybody should have some Frisky Chicken. I don't even know what the hell that means. It sounds like a diet chicken or something. My dream was simple. I was driving from the mountains back home with friends in the car. What I vaguely remember was a snowboard skiing trip. This conversation was, I suppose, the usual for a long car ride. I spy this and just stupid stuff. Then Smash Mouth's All-Star came on. I remember it because everyone started singing along, speeding down the mountain. After signaling onto the passing lane, all of a sudden, a huge car wreck happens in front of us. Happening so fast, cars smashed into each other, and one of the cars involved rolling off of the mountain over the divider. I was too close to avoid it, so I pulled to the right, which caused the car behind us to plow into the side of us, rolling our car to the opposite side of the road. I remember just a fuzzy feeling upside down and just glancing around the car and just seeing my friends mutilated. It sends shivers down my spine to even think about it. I wake up and in tears. I was just so frightened and scared. It was so surreal. And this is where the glitch begins. After years passing from the night of the dream, my friends and I all decided to get together to plan a small trip to have a ski and snowboarding day for the first snowfall. We knew a storm was coming, so we headed up to the mountain. Good runs, fresh snow. It was overall a great success. We had gotten exactly what we had come for. We packed our things and headed down the mountain, and it clicked. The same stupid car banter. I Spy, then Smash Mouth's All-Star came on. It happened. I was in my nightmare. Sorry. Wow. I was in my nightmare. Excuse me. Mom didn't raise me like that, I promise. The wreck just happened, just as I remembered it, but I didn't pull right as I did in my dream. I pulled to the left, into the opposite lane, and somehow just avoided it. Everything slowed down, and it was like I was in my own world, and everything happened the same except for my actions. We pulled to the side of the road and called 911. I broke down. It was just too much. I was again scared and shaking, but somehow that stupid dream saved my life. Sounds like it saved a lot of people's lives. That's pretty wild. And so you hear a story like that, folks, and you got to wonder about if it's already known that things like that happen, are going to happen. I mean, some intelligence, some mind knew that it was coming. Maybe this person's own mind, some part of them, had known that they would be a part of this incident coming up. But it kind of, it's the cool part, I guess, is that it can change. But the fact remains, they were in this car accident that this person dreamed about. And what does that mean? Is there destiny? Is there some things that are just going to happen no matter what? They're just going to happen. I don't know, maybe. It kind of makes you think about, what is this all about then at that point? What is it all about if all the course is planned and everything's all mapped out? What is it all about? But there's still free will, right? So there's still choices. And maybe that's what the lessons are all about, is the choices. I don't know. It gets pretty deep and profound if you follow it too far. But man, it's been pretty trippy stuff. All right, so I think, where are we at for time here? All right, wow. It's actually almost exactly 8 o'clock. All right, so I think we'll do the hour break, folks, and we'll come right back to all of this fun, and we'll get back at it here in just a couple minutes, but I'm going to use the loo quick and grab a new beverage and get comfy to bring you into hour number 2. So I hope you're all good with that. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more of the Paranormal Portal.
Play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Taste their love ripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart. But I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken I am finished with my silence. I am not a stupid toy. No more breaking me with kindness, just you dance upon my joy. Leading me with empty promise, you're just another fucking mess. Taking off the slice of my sanity, just make sure that you're well fed. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken yet. I'm not broken
This looks extraordinarily bad.
They linger in a perpetual dream state, a nightmare from which they cannot wake. I can't see you, Mommy. Where are you? I've never sensed anything like it. Carol Ann is not like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force. It is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
some things you can plan for in life, and some things you can't. I appreciate that you like the song, Nate, but I'd rather you didn't you didn't rip me off on my own show. The song is available on Bandcamp, brentthomas.bandcamp.com. If you want to check it out, it's $1 per download, and if that would be okay, I'd prefer that. That's all you got in my music. But if you can't afford it, then I guess whatever you got to do, brother. It's fine. It's not something that I ever intended to really make any money off of. It was just a song that I wrote years ago, and I ran into all kinds of copyright issues with YouTube when I was starting the show, and it's like, well, I couldn't figure out what music to use, and it wasn't really clear at those times. So rather than risk my channel, I just thought, well, I'll use my own music. I know I could do that, so. That's why the music you hear on the show is mine. I mean, everything from the beginning of the show to the end to that break you just heard is something I wrote with the sound clips from the Poltergeist movie, along with the intro from Egon of Ghostbusters. But yeah, so those are all just things that I threw together. But yeah, no hard feelings, brother. If you can't manage the download, then keep it. That's fine. I mean, if you like the song, I'm honored, truly. But it's there if you want to help out. That's cool too. All right, folks. So we are back. I hope you guys had a good break. Thank you. I appreciate that, Nate. Thank you very much. It's again, music for me has always been kind of a therapy. It's the way I process a lot of stuff, and that one was written, it's called Emotional Buffet, and it was written at a time when I was just feeling like I was getting kicked in the ass everywhere I turned, and it's just like, I'm not broken yet, though. I'm not broken, even though everything's going to hell around me. So it's all just little snapshots of a moment, and so like Feline at the beginning of the show was about a girl, of course. So it's just that craziness you go through when you first start seeing someone that just controls your mind. You can't think of anything else. So it's all just pieces. Just watch what you say, bud. You'll get yourself in trouble. Yeah, I hear you. Your mic is low on my end. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm all maxed out on my meter here, and it seems to be, I hear that from time to time, and it's not ever consistent. And no offense, I'm sure what you're saying is probably true for your connection, or for maybe it's your speakers or something to do with the tone of my voice on some people's computers. Maybe I got to really lean into it here and do this a little more. But some people's speakers, I don't know, my voice doesn't carry as well on. Like Don could be in here talking, even though I have him metered much lower than me. He's just got one of those voices that just carries, and that's not a criticism. It's just, the tonality of my voice is tough for some reason. I don't know how to fix it, because it all meters the same on my meters here in the studio. It's just that, I don't know. I don't know why. I'm sorry, but I do the best I can, brother. It could be on your end. It could be just the tone of my voice. It could be maybe this microphone. I don't know. It's hard to say. But anyway, thank you all for being here with me tonight as we go through my first solo show in quite a long time, but it's kind of cool. I always enjoyed doing the solo shows too, and don't get me wrong, I love it when I got a co-host sitting here and can have discussions and talk about ideas, and also someone to help me watch the chat. I love that, it brings you guys into the experience more. If you do want to say something to me, much like Steve did in his comment, where you do at Paranormal Portal, I can see those better because they come up as big orange blocks as I'm reading things. So if you wouldn't mind, if you want my attention, that's the easiest way to get it. The other way, of course, is to call in. If you want to call in and talk to me, I'm here. 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. I love that refreshing water. All right, let's get back to this. Okay, well, we can do this one for a little bit longer. Then we're going to go into some Lon Strickler reports from Phantoms and Monsters. I just love reading through his creature reports. They've done such a good job over on phantomsandmonsters.com, getting in these reports from people from all over. And he's mapped this incredible archive of different locations, excuse me. He's been going through, we're going through a lot of Pennsylvania right now with Dogman reports. And it's amazing the number of Dogman reports coming out of Pennsylvania. So we'll get into those after a couple more of these from this article. I just think these are really cool. And I'm not sure how far, I mean, there's not a whole lot left on this, is there? No, there really isn't. All right, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to read through this article because we're almost there and it's hardly worth saving for another night. And then we'll get into the Lon Strickler's stuff. So, all right, we're going back to the ranker.com article. And this one is, they got a call from their deceased friend. These are pretty trippy, I got to admit. That just blows your mind. Now, again, I can't say these are, wrong screen. I can't say that these are all 100% accurate and factual, but what I can say, let me just make my screen a little smaller. I didn't realize I was chopping off so much of that window. What I can't say is that all of these are legit. Of course, there's no way to know. They were just aggregated, but they're aggregated under, tell us the weirdest thing you've ever experienced. It's not aggregated under, hey, make up the weirdest story you can think of. So these are supposed to be real experiences that were aggregated from these message threads on Reddit. Are they all true? Probably not. But again, as you listen to these stories, just think, if only 1% of every story that I've read tonight, if only 1% of them is real, that's still freaking amazing. That still means something absolutely incredible is going on. So while we can't invest completely in all of them, it's just, what do you do? I would say that it's higher than 1% that's real, but what percentage? I don't know. It's a crapshoot. But if only one of these stories I read tonight is real, that's still amazing. I think that tablet one was real, obviously. I just think it was just this kid had access to technology that he shouldn't have had access to. Or maybe his dad worked for a tech firm or something developing military stuff and he just gave his kid one or something. I don't know. Probably was supposed to keep it a secret, but he brought it to school, of course. But anyway, let's get to this one. They got a call from their deceased friend. Wow, that would be huge. That would be huge. This is from Redditor Leafy Green Mountain. I was a total idealist back in high school, so when choosing a college, I chose to go somewhere that none of my friends were attending so that I could strike out on my own in a finding myself sort of way. Well, I ended up making a few really close friends my first semester. I mean, these guys became like family to me in a matter of months. One day during a winter break, one of those guys, my buddy Kimbo, had gone back home to visit friends and family, and on his return trip to our college, he hit a bad patch of ice and he perished. It hurt for a long time, and I still think about him all the time. A few weeks after Kimbo's accident, me and the rest of the guys were getting back from a party off campus, and as we were standing outside of our dorm building, I felt my phone vibrating. When I pulled it out, I saw that I was getting a call from Kimbo's phone. Dumbfounded, I showed my friends the phone quickly and then answered. When I picked up, it just went directly to his voicemail, which played the same message it always had. It never happened again, and we never really talked about it, but for me, it was one of those somebody's looking after me moments. I hadn't been doing very well, but seeing his name showing up on my cell phone screen one final time made me feel a whole lot better for a time, and it really helped me get out of the slump that I was in. I have no idea how his phone could have possibly called me, and I doubt I ever will, but this was one of those glitch in the matrix that I'll forever be thankful for. That's a beautiful story. I think he's right. I think it is just, hey, I'm here with you guys. I'm here. I'm watching over you boys. I think that's beautiful. Their takeout dish changed on them. That's what the delivery guy said. I don't know. It was your order. No, it's not. Weird. Anyway, it's $10. By Hades Smiles. Me and my friend were at a Chinese restaurant, and we ordered a General Tso chicken dinner and a shrimp lo mein dish. When we sat down, we took out both boxes and set them on the table about 2 feet apart. My friend opens the first box, and we see the shrimp lo mein dish. It has all the things in there. Noodles, shrimp, fried rice. He closes the box and opens the other box, and inside that box is another shrimp lo mein dish. Shrimp, noodles, fried rice. Oh, I think they must have mixed the order. I was just about to say this when my friend says out loud, looks like they made a mistake and gave us 2. As he opened up the first box again, inside it is General Tso chicken dinner order. General Tso chicken, white rice, and an egg roll. He froze and looked at me. I looked back at him, and we sat in silence. It took us 5 or so minutes to collect ourselves. I have no idea what happened. That's really interesting. So, again, when I see stories like this, I think of the fact that I really do believe we truly fundamentally and very, very directly, we create our experience. I think that we do. I think that we create our experiences. And so, what if they were expecting to open a lo mein dish and the shrimp lo mein and opened it, and that's exactly what appeared there. They closed it, opened the other one, and that was the real lo mein dish. They opened it, and it was too. And then went, wait a minute, where's the General Tso's chicken? Open that one, and it became that. I don't know. I mean, it gets really kind of funky when you think about it too much. But how much influence do we have in creating our experiences? And I think honestly we have full control of it. I just think that most of it is happening on a metaphysical subconscious level, but that we do create our experiences. And as absolutely frightening and horrible as that may sound sometimes, given some circumstances, I mean, again, are we here to learn? I don't know. I don't ever mean to be preachy, so forgive me if anything I ever say comes across as preachy, but this is my journey, and this is me thinking out loud and what I think about when I read these things. It's like, what's going on? How did that happen? How did they open both boxes, have the same order in them, but then when they rechecked, the original order was right. It was there. I mean, they didn't move. They didn't change anything, but they opened and closed a box. They opened up another box and then reopened the first box, and it changed. So is that a fundamental mechanic of them creating their experience? I don't know. You be the judge, but it gets pretty trippy to think about, right? Hey, Jason, good to see you. You're late? Nah. Well, I mean, I'm glad you're here. There's never any late. A wizard is neither late nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. That's my best Gandalf. I don't know. That's all I got. You didn't pay for the impressions. You just get them free. And some of them really suck. All right, they heard a disembodied voice inside the car. I hear a lot of these. This will be interesting. This is by Pistachio, Redditor named Pistachio. When I was like 10 or 11, I was going to the beach with my aunt and her friends. There were 2 cars of us. To get there, we had to go through a very large industrial area, and we didn't know the direction, so our car was following the other, and suddenly they did an unexpected turn, and so our driver had to take a sharp bend. In that moment, we heard a very clear, loud voice inside the car laughing and saying, "Sharp bend, The driver immediately hit the brakes, and we looked at each other, puzzled. We all recognized it as a voice not belonging to any of us. In the very same time, we noticed that the other car had stopped as well. The other driver got out of the car with a scared face and shouted, "Did you hear that as well?" They heard the same thing inside their car. The area around was fully deserted. Oof. Huh. So was it actually a physical voice, or was it a psychic voice? Now, a lot of people experiencing what they believe to be telepathy or mind speak or something. And this comes up in Bigfoot reports from people that claim that they heard the thoughts inside their head that were not their own. But they said it's not the same as like hearing a thinking voice, like you're thinking of something. They said it sounds like a voice, but it's in your head. And maybe in that moment, as they were all focused on the road, they heard this very clear, distinct voice, but maybe it wasn't a physical voice. Maybe it was telepathic. And then where did it come from? I don't know. Maybe the Bigfoot. Maybe it was a Bigfoot nearby watching them going, nice job. I don't know. That's just me being stupid, for the record. I don't know. That has anything to do with Bigfoot, but it does sound like if they heard it in 2 very distinct places, and there was no way that it could have carried from one car to the other, or it could have been projected to both of them, physically, then how could it be anything else? It would have to be telepathic, right? All right, let's go to the next one. This is They Watch Their Own Procedure. What the hell does this mean? This is by Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Yeah. Sorry. I can't do the Scooby-Doo laugh because it's really loud the way I do it, so I can't do it too well. During a spinal tap procedure, I was put under. While under anesthetics, I had what I can only explain as an out-of-body experience, seeing as how my point of view was above my body, looking down on the procedure. I watched the whole thing and saw that the doctor knocked my Game Boy off the tabletop while walking by, batteries ejecting from the fall. One fell in sight and he picked it up, but the other was next to the front left wheel under the bed and out of his view, but not mine. I woke up groggily and told him where my other battery was, and he was shocked when he found it there. To this day, it still weirds me out. That's pretty wild. I don't think I'd want to watch my own procedure. Because they have that option when I've had several surgeries in my life, so and in a few of them, they gave me the option, do you want the local? And I was like, nope. I just, just wake me when you're done. That's all I want. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see you fixing stuff. I'm not going to plan on learning it. It's not like I'm learning to change the oil here. It's like, you do it, you take care of the job, and then, when you're done, just wake me up. But some people like to watch that stuff. They just get into that. Like, oh yeah, look at that. So I don't know. It's not a spectator sport I've ever been interested in, but yeah, it's up to what, each of you, whatever you want. Paz says he can do a good Scooby-Doo. Awesome. All right, let's get to the next one, and we're going to be there. Yeah, this is just two left. So they heard a phone call before it happened. From Redditor, Tog the Destroyer. I was sitting in my car with just my dad, and I distinctly heard my sister, who was at home, say, "Are you guys almost home? I'm scared," in a very specific, concerned tone of voice. 2 seconds later, my dad's phone rings. Guess who's on the line? My sister, and she said, "Are you guys almost home? I'm scared," in the same concerned tone of voice. I was pretty freaked out. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a cool premonition. Their dream gave them winning lottery numbers. God, I need that dream. That's from Redditor Kevonicus. I've won the lottery twice by playing numbers that I saw in dreams the night before. First dream was me entering the numbers 4906 on a keypad for some reason, and the second dream months later was me using a bottle of 409. I only won a couple $100, but it's better than nothing, and I got exact matches both times. That's pretty cool. There you have it, folks. That was that Ranker article. That's a pretty good one, I got to admit. I like that article. Now, some of them we've heard before. It happens, but, some of those were brand new to me. So I think those are pretty cool. I'm going to move that back over here. All right, now let's see where we're at. Okay. I was going to read this one. Okay, here we are. I got to look at the time and see where we're at. Yeah, we're about doing good here. Brown Dwarf, good to see you, brother. I should do shout outs. If you guys want to shout out, I'm going to do them now. So if you want to shout out, type something in the chat, because that's how the participants list is generated by chatters. So if you want one, that's how you get them. And the list is pretty small, but it's growing a little bit. A few popped up. All right, here comes the shout outs. If you want one, you're getting it now. I got to wait for the lag. Many of you are just hearing this now out there. So, but here comes the shout outs. The first one is Brown Dwarf. Second one is Jason Lawrence, Maggie M10. Pazuzu is here. Oh, somebody came in. Lady J Homestead. Good to see you. Thank you. Rachel gets it right. Ruger Ridge. Ruthie Castro. Slowpoke. Oh, somebody else popped in. Who is it? Ghost Magnet 81. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Slowpoke, Sugar Britches, Tracy Gale, and Steve Humphrey. Good. Good to see you. Where did Nathan go? Nathan, you better be still here, buddy. That's all I'm saying. Hang out. Good to see you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you that are chatting, I appreciate it. It means the world. Let me just take a look at this quick. I hope you're enjoying this. Okay. It's just me, but he works. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. All right. So let's get to this report again from Phantoms and Monsters. I won't have time for the one. I'm going to do one tomorrow on Brent Swanser, but this is from Phantoms and Monsters, and this is incidents on site reports, Pennsylvania lichen investigations. This list is Monday, August 22nd of 2016. Now, a lot of these are older, but this is apparently during a rash of sightings they were having down there. So it's Wolfman and Bigfoot encounters on Center County Park property. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is the one, wasn't it? Wait a second. This is the one that I ended up clicking on this. Okay, yeah, this one I did. I did click on that one. Okay, so let me close this. I got to close that. I still had a mess from last show, so I apologize. Okay, well, let me just read the sighting report. It says this investigator is R.A.K., witness R.K.'s son. All right. And it says arrived at 0800 hours on 18th of August 2016, met with Rack and her husband, KK, and her son, RK, who was the only witness. It was quite apparent from the start of the interview that the mother, Rack, wanted to be involved in RK's account. Oh, thank you, Nate. I appreciate it, brother. Excellent. Thanks a bunch, brother. Involved in RK's accounts of the two events. I separated him from his mother under the pretext of him showing one of my investigators the route it took leaving the property. Oh, you know what? I should have read this the other night when we did the actual report. And it was the kid kept seeing a Dogman out the back, and actually they saw a Bigfoot as well, sitting on a stump watching the neighbor work in his yard, or the uncle or whatever that lived right next door. So, but 2 times they saw the Dogman. Once it had its snout against the glass right outside the window. The little kid saw it and it took off. And the other time it was standing out away from the house next to like a strawberry or raspberry patch or something like that. And it was just standing out there with its back to him, but looking out towards the wood line. So it says the property was as described in the initial report, along with the placement of the window where the bipedal was seen, measurement of the window, and the boy's placement of the face was approximately 7 foot 6 inches to 8 foot. Notice difference being the unevenness of the ground where the tape was placed. It says there is no even ground on the property. The area is hilly, rough, uneven, and overgrown in most spots. The home is 2006 double-wide trailer. The land owned is approximately 3 acres and surrounded by dense underbrush and wooded areas. The father, KK, and son, RK, took us to the mine area on the property, which was caved in a long time ago, and we could not gain access, nor do I believe anything other than a small animal could do the same. The property has a number of game cams watching the property, but they had not seen anything out of the ordinary. Note, this game cams were placed on the property after these events. Caves in the area mentioned by both the mother and father to UFOR cop. Oh, I don't know what UFOR cop is. Never materialized, and I believe that cave story was indeed made up. The area around the home and trail leading to mine area showed no track or prints of any kind. RK's interviewer advised RK truly believes that what he saw looking in his bedroom window that morning on September 27th, 2015. He was very direct in showing the exact route taken by the creature as it ran off into the wooded area. He was clear and precise in his description of the creature and its exit route. Regarding the second sighting of February 22nd, 2016, he was vague as though he could not remember the incident, but later on, as we sat in the home's dining room area, his mother coached him through it. It says, while RR was telling his story, I was with the mother in the front porch, talking and asking general questions about the area, property, etc. She alluded to seeing Bigfoot at will, mountain lions, large flying reptile-looking birds. She also claims to be a clairvoyant from a very young age and sees ghosts all the time. The investigators compared notes while en route to the next location, have come to the conclusion that RK may have really seen something on 9/27/15, but the mother planted the February 22nd 16 sighting into the equation. Also strange was the father, KK, was not injecting anything into the conversations. So they said that the basically when the Dogman was standing looking in the window, that was a legit sighting, but everything else is speculative or potentially not true. And it's hard to say. I mean, that's the tough part. So we're going to go to a cryptid canid, Perry County, Pennsylvania. And Lon says, I received the following account by email this morning. I was deer hunting just north of the Tuscarora State Forest. This was on Saturday, December 3rd. The date of this is December 5th, 2016. Okay. And let's see, December 3rd, I have a tree stand on the edge of the large field owned by a friend. I've been hunting here for almost 20 years and have even bagged several deer at this location. I saw something that early morning that I'm not sure how to explain. It was about 7:10 a.m. and just turning light. I noticed a few deer in the distance running towards the state's forest. I looked through my scope and saw what I thought were 2 coyote following the deer, but these coyotes didn't look quite right. They were larger, almost like wolves. About 15 minutes later, I was watching a buck about 600 yards south of me in the open field when it bolted towards the trees, and then I saw a large dog-like animal. It was slowly walking or stalking, I'm not sure, but it was heading in my direction. I was upwind from it, and it soon noticed me in the tree stand. It stopped and looked at me for a few seconds, then started walking towards me again. It was about 100 yards or so from me, and I heard it growling. This was not a dog or a coyote. It reminded me of a wolf, but the back was arched, and the head was huge. The fur was very dark, and the legs were odd and sparse hair. I thought about shooting it, but something told me not to. I was shaking as well. This animal really scared me. It once again stopped moving, looked at me for a few seconds. The face was that of a wolf, but the snout was shorter than any wolf photo I've ever seen. It had steely eyes, almost like those of a human. Really weird. Something caught its attention, and it ran off towards the south. I stayed on the stand for another hour and didn't see anything during that time. When I did leave the stand, I was very cautious. I had no idea if it was in the area. I reached my car, and I left. I talked to the Game Commission officer later and reported the animal. He said that there had been a few reports of large dogs, but that they were most likely coyote. I told him this was not a coyote, but he didn't seem to care. I talked to a guy at church who told me about your website and said I should contact you. I don't want to be too specific about the location because it's private land and belongs to a friend. And the note here is I contacted the witness by email and he telephoned me this morning. He's somewhat shook up by the encounter. It was obvious on the phone. The encounter was north of the Tuscarora State Forest in Perry County. He asked a few questions and seemed to be truthful. Or he answered a few and seemed to be truthful. The archback intrigued me. He mentioned hyena-like, a description I have heard before. It never went bipedal while the witness observed it, and the sighting needs investigation. Yeah, that is weird. Huh. That is very, very strange. And here's another one. Again, this one's in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I thought this one was cool because, of course, our good friend Eric Mintel in Bucks County Paranormal, they're always investigating stuff, so I thought this was kind of fun. That this report comes from Bucks County Paranormal area. So let's check this out. Find out just what the hell's going on in Pennsylvania. It says I've recently received the following report. This is the report. My boyfriend at the time and I were driving to Doylestown, Pennsylvania in 2016 when we saw an upright arched back dog or wolf-like creature run across the road. There's that arched back again, huh? It had long arms but was on 2 feet, and it jumped up with both feet/legs at the same time like a hop, but it jumped high onto the wall of the other side of the road and then jumped straight up and out into the woods beyond the wall. We both saw this and couldn't figure out what it could be. It was dark out, so we couldn't see where it went and really didn't want to. It was a creature that neither of us had ever seen or knew to exist. I replied back to CM and received the following. Lon, absolutely, I will talk to you. I never questioned what I saw. My ex-boyfriend, whom I am still good friends with still, can verify this experience. When I decided to Google Wolfman or Dogman creature entity to see if it was possible that someone else may have seen something similar, I found a few sites, including your website. Excuse me. It's validating to see others in Pennsylvania have seen similar creatures. I never minded telling people what I saw that night, and I'm sure some thought I was a little crazy, but I don't care. I knew what I saw. The exact spot that I saw this in screenshots provided, Old Easton Road, next to the Water Wheel Tavern in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. It was seen on the bridge that is now being restored and under construction right next to the restaurant. The red X's are where the creature ran from left to right with incredible speed, and the red swoops are where it jumped like a kangaroo straight up with its two legs, paused very briefly, and then jumped into the wooded area like it was a monkey that could swing from whatever it landed on. Like I said, it was dark, and I couldn't see where it landed. Lon says, I talked to CM the next day. This incident occurred mid-June 2016 at approximately 1 a.m. local time. CM and her boyfriend were on their way home, driving north on Old Easton Road in Doylestown, Pennsylvania in Bucks County. The creature crossed in front of them on the bridge crossing at Pine Run at approximately 50 to 60 feet. They had a very good look at the beast, which was illuminated by the headlights. They both described it as 4.5 to 5 feet in height, with muscular dog-like legs, biped, with human-like feet. The body was humanoid in shape, though there was a distinct arched back. The arms were very long, reaching near mid-leg, and muscular with prominent human-like hands. The head was canine and looked like that of a wolf, with a dark, heavy mane that extended down the back. It looked at the couple, exhibited eye shine. No discernible eye color. It also had a tail that was covered in dark grayish fur. And this may have been a juvenile, since the height is significantly shorter than most other sightings. Below are the map and images provided to me. Oh, okay, here we go. And I've included images of the tavern and the wall on the bridge. Okay, so I guess this is where it happened, in this Water Wheel Tavern area. Oh, okay, so this is the steps, or where it ran. These are the jumps. Wow. Yeah, that's gotta be unnerving. Huh. And there again, I mean, you look at this area, it's not like it's just an ocean of wilderness. And look at the houses all around. So they don't seem to have any trouble traversing populated areas. If you've ever been out in the country, there's kind of a weird phenomenon, and it's real common if you're out in the rural areas of our societies. There's like a telegraph of dogs. You know, like people in the country tend to have dogs, and I grew up out in a very rural area next to a state forest, and everybody had dogs, and you could sometimes hear this chain of dog barking. Like when it's quiet out in the country at night, you can hear for a long ways away, and you can hear dogs barking surprisingly far away, like over a mile, and you would hear very distant barks. And then progressively, as whatever they were barking at continued on a trajectory, the chain of barking would continue. Now, at where my house was, there wasn't a lot of houses left. Like, this was kind of the end of the chain. But they would bark coming down the chain and on the hill above, and then they would quit barking. And you wonder what came through. What was it that traveled that whole distance in what would appear to be a line past? Well, thank God it kept going past. I guess that's the good part, but not knowing what it is, and most commonly it would be like maybe a pack of deer was coming through or something like that. I mean, normally it's not paranormal stuff that makes dogs bark. They bark at pretty much everything at night. Could be a pack of coyotes. There were coyotes in that area as well. So that certainly gets dogs on edge. And they'll make a lot of racket if there's coyotes around. But it's kind of interesting. But when you look at these pictures, this is a Dogman sighting. And this is not, not a very desolate area. This is like any suburban area or suburban small town, country-ish almost, but there's a lot of homes around here. That's not where you would expect to see a Dogman because, we just think these are a phenomenon of the deep woods. These are not things that amble up into people's lawns, but I think they do. I think they've learned to live just fine around us. So I think that's a fascinating report. Very cool. Let me check the time here and see how we're doing. We're doing good. We're doing good. All right, let me just see where I'm at here. Okay, so that was that one. Let's oh, this one's the other one. Okay. Yeah, this is the next one. I'm going to be covering this other article tomorrow. All right. Let's go back here. I want to pull up a couple more from Lon's list of some pretty wild ones. This is Northumberland. Let's pull that one up. Let's pull up this one. This is an aggressive report. Let's hear this one. All right, so the first one that we're going to talk about here is from July 16th, 2018. So we're moving up a couple years. This is Northumberland County, Pennsylvania werewolf. This is a pretty decent sized one. It says this is going to be an odd story, but I think one of the reasons why it's hard to definitely prove Bigfoot or werewolves is because they can cover a lot of ground real fast. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me pull it up on the screen so you guys can see it. In the early spring of 2009, I was out at a bush party with a bunch of friends. The party was dying down. The fire was still cooking. I wanted to wait for the fire to go out, and I didn't want to burn down the woods near my cousin's coal mine about 10 miles northwest of central Pennsylvania. So I was sitting there by the fire watching it burn down. It starts glowing, and the embers are cooking out. I start to hear this teeth gnashing sound like a rabid dog. I always keep a rifle slung, a shotgun, in my truck because we have black bears, and my cousin always claimed there was a mountain lions up there, so I fire up my Dodge. That does look like a golf course area. You're kind of right, yeah. I don't even make it about 50 feet down the path, and I see what appears to be a 6'5" wolf staring right at me, over the thicket there, right through the brush, just looking at me. So I know there's no gray wolves or anything in Pennsylvania in that area, so I swung the door open in the Dodge and fired the shotgun at it, trying to scare it off. It ducked down. I got into the truck, and I hammered down all the way home. Now, to put this in perspective, when I say long distance very fast, if you look on Google Maps from Centralia, Pennsylvania, to just outside of Shamokin, Pennsylvania, I would say it's roughly 20 miles in a straight line. About 3 hours after I get home, I'm going to go out and get the shotgun, and I'm going to clean it because I fired it, and it was howling, buddy. It was howling, buddy. It was up in the woods behind my old man's house. Next day, I packed up my stuff and moved down to Lebanon. You can take that story with a grain of salt. You can do with it what you want, but we got a lot of abandoned coal mines up that way and a lot of creepy stuff in Centralia. I mean, that one hunter was supposedly killed in Northumberland County, this is the same county as the alien abduction. Remember that one? Lewis believes that he's talking about the Todd Seas case. Okay. The best way I can describe this creature, I don't know, like some people suggest Bigfoot has to do with aliens and that stuff. I'm not qualified to make that assumption, but what I will say is, have you ever seen the movie Dog Soldiers? That's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly what it looked like, except it wasn't wearing the torn up gloves. I'll tell you what, it was creepy. I'm getting the chills every time I hear that werewolf sound. The scary part of what it was, the scary part about it was like a normal dog howling at the moon. It almost, if you play with your computer there, try to make the werewolf sound a bit more electronic, like a distortion, and it'll sound perfect. That was from Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis. Apparently submitted this one. That is wild. I don't know. Could they cover 20 miles in just a few hours? Maybe. People do say that they follow. Like they'll follow you for miles and miles. I don't know. 20 miles seems like a bit of a stretch, but I guess anything's possible. All right, let's close that one and pick up another one here. This is the next one. How are we doing for time? I guess we don't have to worry too much because I'm not up against any network timers tonight. This is an upright canine encounter in Center County, Pennsylvania. It says, I received an eyewitness referral after messaging was posted on a Facebook group page. The following information was originally posted, and this is coming from October 31st of 2018, again on phantomsandmonsters.com. You guys should go check these out. There's just so many amazing reports here that people have submitted. It says, I know that Dogman is real. In 2001, I saw one while hunting in Pennsylvania. It was about 7 feet tall. Had a head like a dog with a long muzzle. It was very strange looking with gray and black hair with a 2 or 3 foot tail. It sounded like a demon from hell. I was 45 yards from it. I had in my scope. It was one ugly puppy. It was standing looking towards me. It had yellow, wild looking eyes. I had my 30-06 with me and a 4+12 Weaver scope on it. Oh, okay. I believe it saw me. It took a step towards me, and then it took off to my left. I did take my safety off just in case. That was by Mo Shannon, Pennsylvania, in Center County. What is left here? It says, I was given Ty's telephone number and later contacted him. He explained that he was hunting in the area and was a part of a 110-acre farm that he once owned. It was 2001 during the deer firearms season, late fall. Ty was in the deer stand at about 10:30 a.m. He noticed movement in front of him. He estimated that it was about 45 yards from him. Thinking that it may be a deer, he adjusted his scope and took a look. He was shocked to see an upright bipedal being, about 7 to 8 feet in height, with a head that reminded him of a large German shepherd with a long muzzle. The eyes were yellow-orange in color, and it was looking in his direction. The creature was human-like in stature, with a muscular chest, arms, and legs. It had gray and black hair all over its body. The hands/claws looked like oversized raccoon paws. The feet were long and attached to canine-like hawked legs. It was making a low, deep growling sound that Ty described as demonic. Yikes. The creature took one step forward and Ty clicked the safety off on his rifle. Apparently the creature heard and or recognized the danger and immediately took off in a direction left of Ty. This was the only time that Ty saw the creature. Ty did say that he has seen what he believed was a white Bigfoot while hunting in the same area in 1999. We've received upright canine reports from areas around Moshannon State Forest and Sproul State Forest in recent years. Center County is located within the Lichen Loop in central Pennsylvania. Wow. Excuse me. That's a wild one. Again, that, you got to think 45 yards away in forest. I assume this guy was probably, in cover, probably wearing camo, and yet this thing still saw him, zeroed right in on him. So many hunters talk about that they're looking through the scope at the thing, and then suddenly the thing, whether it's a Bigfoot or a Dogman, will turn and look exactly at the person, like, looking right at them as they're watching through a scope. I just think, God, they just know. I don't know. They seem to be aware of us plenty good, though. All right, let's see. What do we got for time? Yeah, we got time for this last one. Excuse me. All right, this is an aggressive upright canine encounters multiple witnesses in Center County, Pennsylvania. And this is from April 3rd, 2019. It says, Butch Wischkowski recently received a telephone report of a large aggressive upright canine encounter in Rothrock State Park in Center County, Pennsylvania. Butch was on site the next day, March 31st, and then filed the following account. The incident occurred within the Lichen Loop in central Pennsylvania. So that's a new thing. I've never heard of the Lichen Loop, but I'm going to have to find out what that means. It says 3 couples hiking in the Rothrock State Forest, just outside of Pine Grove Mills, Pennsylvania, encountered a bipedal canine. The couple state that between 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m., while hiking, a large wolf-like creature stepped out from the wooded area near a small clearing. The creature was staring at the group, and when a female member of the party started screaming, the creature took 2 or 3 steps towards the group, baring its teeth and growling. All witnesses agree it seemed the screaming definitely set it off to go into an aggressive movement in the direction of the group. The hikers left the area immediately, running for their lives, as they put it to the investigators. The description by all the members of the group state the creature was between 8 and 10 feet tall, a large wolf head, yellow eyes, long muscular arms, massive body build, and strange-looking legs. Investigators from the UFO Research Center of Pennsylvania and Phantoms and Monsters 40 Research Team met with witnesses and viewed the area of sighting, but no evidence was found. The witnesses were very cooperative, and all the descriptions matched. A more invasive investigation of the area is being planned, as past reports have been in the general area of Center County. I don't know. That's got to be crazy to be out in a hike and you look up and boom, there's something like that. Oh, that's amazing. What did I miss? That looks like a golf course. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Chat's going kind of slow. You guys slowing down in there? Maybe there's not many here. I don't know. Did I lose a bunch? Did I lose a bunch of the audience? Let me see. See how many has stuck it out with me. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. Now we got 44, I guess. Okay. 41, 44, something like that. It's been a real quiet night here. Friday nights generally are. I'm not sure. I know that that's Bigfoot Odyssey does a show at 7 o'clock as well. So that ends up being a competition of sorts. But you know, I bear them no ill regard. They have every right to do shows at the same time. But that's cool. I understand. We are tired. Me too. I feel tired too. It feels like it's been a long day, but I've been working on stuff all day long since early. So I feel like I'm running on fumes too. So I'm sorry about that if I'm not putting all the energy into it here, folks. But I'm giving you all I got. It's just sometimes it's not as much as it should be, maybe. But it is kind of weird to do the show all alone again. It kind of feels quiet, like really quiet. Not used to this. But it's okay. I don't mind doing it this way. It's also kind of nostalgic. Like, this is the way I started. Just sitting here in front of a microphone, talking about things, reading stories, talking about those stories. But the phone lines were open if you wanted to call the sleep of the just, Brent. Yeah, I will. I'm sure I will. Hopefully tonight I will. We are Devo. And I've been working in a coal mine. Never mind. I used to love that song from the heavy metal soundtrack. Paranormal Portal. How you doing, Maggie? It's okay, Brent. You're brilliant, by the way. You're too kind. You guys are so kind, and I appreciate your words of encouragement. It's fine. I mean, of course, I'd love to look up and see hundreds of people enjoying the Paranormal Portal, but I'm absolutely thrilled that you guys are always here. That really means the world. It really is cool to do a show and to know that it means something to people. That's all I can ask for. Great bedtime stories. Hey, I hear you, Steve. They're almost putting me to sleep. No, I'm just kidding. That sounded terrible. No, I don't get tired doing the show, but I definitely feel like some nights I got more to give than others, and I always try to ramp up to every night that I do the shows, because I think it's important to put energy into this, to entertain you guys as well as I can, reading the stories as well as I can. And some of the stories, depends on where I get the stories. Some of them are really well written and easy to read, and others are just like, I don't know, they're written so poorly. It's hard to make that entertaining when you're struggling to understand what the hell the person is saying. I can't tell you how many times I've read through entire paragraphs and been like, what? And then I got to reread it because I just didn't understand what the hell was going on. And then you realize that the people often aren't very good at punctuation, and that's a huge thing. Because where does the thought end? Okay, now we're on a new thought, but sometimes it just gets this huge run-on mess. It's like, oh no, but it happens. So I got to tell you, it's been a good journey. I always love doing it. If we were on TFR, I'd tell you to stick around for Paisley Wild coming up next, but we're not on TFR. But you can certainly go check out our show. She'll be coming up next as well. So, at the 9 o'clock hour, as it were. But I think it's been a good show. I hope you guys have enjoyed it all the same, and thank you for being here again. And remember, I'll be here tomorrow night, and Sheldon will be with me. So we'll have that extra energy that his youth brings, the energy of youth. It definitely is necessary sometimes. It's past my bedtime. No, it's not really. But I'm always a night owl anyway. But yeah, we got some cool things coming up for you guys. Some announcements that I'll hopefully be able to make soon about some things coming up. But hopefully you guys are doing great. And I think that's going to about wrap it up for me. I don't have anything else to read that's maybe 2 minutes long. Clearly I'm talking about me. Oh, that's okay. Love all the smiley faces. Did Android stick around, or did he head out? He must have had to head out, but all right. All right, folks. Well, that's all that's all I'm gonna give you, because that's all I got to give you. So I hope you guys will tune in tomorrow night on our Saturday night show. Sheldon will be here. It should be a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to have him on here too, because he's new to the paranormal, so he's got great questions. So we'll be at it then. Oh, Android, you're here. Okay, great to see you, buddy. I was just curious if you noticed your wrench. I just cleared out some old mods, and I was like, we need to, people that are here. And so, Android, you've been a big help to me personally on both in this chat and also on the Discord chat. So I wrenched you. So love you too, Maggie. Thank you so much. And love you all. Steve, good to see you, brother. Gigi, you're not new. But I got to tell you, that's it for the night. So anyway, tomorrow night, anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. But remember, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. You guys take care, have a great night, and I'll see you here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the same YouTube channel. So look for you then. Good night, everybody. Sweet dreams, and I'll talk to you soon.